Soul-stealing magi.
Flesh-eating creeps.
Yeah, it's just another day at the office for the madhouse. My werewolf partner and I attempt to keep the peace without being torn to pieces. Weep at the wonder.
Howl at the horror.
And keep the light on. It's gonna get dark. This is the 100-Handed.
Lost souls. Episode 19, The Hen in the Foxhouse. I watched as Wexler bluffed his way past a security guard in a dreary little prefab hut. Even at a distance, I could make out the toll that staring at a TV for hours on end at a dead-end job was taking on the poor bastard. I turned my attention to the environment. I love the night in Central Texas. I love how alive it is. Every insect and amphibian is out, crying to the moon and the stars. I love how my senses are fuller, more expansive than they've ever been, and I love how I can lose myself in their vastness. I've been scouting the perimeter of the plant, Texas Beef Incorporated. A false front, but the tricks of the gloom don't affect me like they do the flock. Most of the people here in this small town of Queensbury probably pass by this place every day and don't give it a second thought. The gloom hides in plain sight, camouflaged by ignorance and indifference. But I'm noticing. I'm noticing every inch of fence, every heavy metal door, everything surrounding the beef plant. I'm making a list, checking it twice, like a fucked up psychotic Santa. Nothing escapes my notice. There was motion inside, through one of the grimy windows. Not much, but there was something familiar about it. A door opened at the rear of the plant. 3 lights signaled me from my hiding spot. Wexler's left me an inn. I slunk towards it, crossing the yard, sticking to the shadows of the Connex boxes that littered the area like a giant toddler's Lego set. You'd think that security would be more strict. Maybe it was. And maybe I'm just that good. I slipped inside, kicking away the wedge propping the door open and venturing into the plant. God, it reeks in here. I spun around, readying the claws on my hand. A woman stepped forward. She wore an apron spattered with blood so old it was brown and blood so fresh it glistened. A pair of dirty goggles rested on her forehead, and she stared at me with eyes wild with excitement.
There you are.
I found myself in a large refrigeration unit. Waiting for V wasn't an option. She'd have to find her own way through the plant. We had each other on quick dial to signal trouble. So far, so good. The room itself was large, row after row of meat hanging off massive hooks. Implements were strewn about haphazardly. Clearly the plant was not concerned about code.
God, it's cold in here. They've got all kinds of creeps strung up here. Imps, cribnads, retchers. So here's all the missing creeps from the dim and the surrounding areas. But why? Vincula clearly isn't keen on the creeps in his dominion being snatched. But that doesn't answer why they're being harvested by the 100-handed in the first place. If we can get Catherine, bring her to Vincula, we might be able to have the puppet master in her debt. Not that I want to deal with him more than I have to, but Vincula's known far more than he lets on. And having a creep like him in our pocket could do us a world of good. Or hurt.
That you, Fee?
Shit. Yeah. I'm here.
You're right. There you are. Which is funny, because you're also over here.
Pushing through the rows of carcasses came the real feed, right on the heels of Fang.
What the hell's going on? Why do you have my face? I guess there's no use for this anymore.
I recognize you without your disguise. You're the Imagomancer from the dim. Yarden Kansas. You aren't in the state north of Oklahoma anymore, Dorothy. Why have you come here?
I'd tell you, but then I'd have to kill you.
Funny. He's funny, Fang. You don't have your friend to help you out this time, Imagomancer.
Oh, she's here.
No, she's with Mother. You're all alone.
Well, I've got 5 friends that beg to differ.
He thinks that little pea shooter's gonna help Fang?
How would your boss, your mother, feel about you snacking on her property?
What Mama don't know? Won't hurt her.
I can't say the same for you.
Now's not the time for you to speak in quips. Tell us what you're doing here, and we might kill you quickly.
I think I'd rather tell you something else. You see, you think that just because you have me outnumbered, that you have me outgunned.
The odds do not look good for you.
That's because you don't know what I know. That's a big hunk of meat, Feed. You sure you can eat it all at once?
I'm not sharing if that's what you're asking. Besides, this is just an appetizer. You're the main course.
You think that I simply wandered in here, with no idea of where I was going or what I was doing. Fair enough. I'm in unfamiliar territory. The thing is, I had some idea. See, you've been pissing someone off who likes to make it their priority to know things. Vincula. You know, the creep whose business you've been cutting into by kidnapping his clientele. Well, he gave us the lay of the land before we came.
So,
That means I knew, at the very least, that this was some kind of meat processing plant.
What's he talking about, Fang? I don't see where this is going.
Just hold on. Both of that hunk of meat and your curiosity. The great thing about being an Imagomancer, aside from a life of constant danger, is the fact that if Solomon can dream it, they can make it. Which means our magic is quite versatile. So as long as we know our battleground beforehand. This tattoo, it's a favorite. Not much occasion to use it, but figured it'd be useful here. Ink on the back of the hand, little zigzags on each finger. Kind of looks like an explosion if you make a fist, then outstretch your fingers real quick. Solomon took inspiration from an old Diablo game for it, believe it or not.
flesh of the fallen, give me victory through violence.
What the?
Boom. The chunk of flesh that Seed was about to take a bite out of exploded in his right hand. His right arm ripped off, dangling uselessly by the tendons. Feed collapsed in agony.
What have you done?
Bodyboom. tattoo that explodes corpses. Pretty handy in a meat processing plant, I gotta say. See, with all the carcasses around, I control the battlefield.
Die!
Fang darted towards me, zipping through the rows of hanging meat. I detonated the carcasses one after the other, attempting to anticipate his movements. Fang was fast. Too fast. By the time I got a beat on him, he'd already shifted, his body elongating into that of a massive snake. He coiled around my legs, dropping me to the floor yet again.
Stupid! Just try using that spell now. You'll kill both of us.
A viscous liquid ran down one of the fangs, welled at the tip of it, then dropped onto my face. It felt like someone had just pressed a hot knob lighter to my cheek.
Yes! Cry in pain. There is so much more to come.
You're right. If I use the Bodyboom to explode that carcass above us, I'll kill us both. But if you don't let me go, I'll kill Feed.
You can't.
You have no idea what I can do. I'll burn the tat. You know what a Bodyboom tattoo does when it's burned? It vaporizes the corpse, along with everything in its radius. So, yes, I'm dead, but I'm dead no matter what, and I'll take him with me. It'll be easy. That dismembered arm counts as a corpse. Feed will be gone before you can blink.
He means nothing to me.
Good. Then you can live without him, you cold-blooded bastard.
Say goodbye!
Wait! Don't kill him!
Stay the fuck back! I've got the tattoo charged. You make one move, he's gone. That's enough potential energy in these corpses to kill Feed 3 times over.
Just leave him alone.
That's up to you.
Let me reassume my human form.
Fine. You take him, you leave this place to me. I've got unfinished business here.
He's still breathing. Lucky for you, hot blood.
Go.
You can uncharge the spell.
Not till you're both out of sight. I kept an eye on Fang. He escorted his crippled brother out of the cold storage. After they were gone, it was all I could do to keep from collapsing. I didn't have my disguise anymore, but I wasn't overly concerned about the others in the warehouse. I'd go loud if I had to. Something itched at the back of my mind, however. Perhaps I'd gotten too used to V pulling my ass out of the fire. I'd been sure that she would come barreling in at any moment, my guardian angel with fangs and fur. But she hadn't shadowed me, which meant something else was up. What?
It's been about a year, I think, since I set up shop here. Impressive, isn't it?
Not the word beginning with the letter I that first came to mind, Catherine.
And what would that be?
Insane. Idiotic.
Don't be such a rube. There's important work going on here.
What are those things?
I call them the Carved.
Zombies?
Zombies are the dead brought back to life. These creatures, well, they never made it to the grave. But they are obedient, easy to reproduce, and programmable. Best of all, they're silent.
They look familiar.
I modeled them after the bombs. It took work. You'd think that making a smaller version of those creatures would be easier, but in that sense, it's almost more like building a computer, putting more into less, so to speak.
This entire processing plant, the Carved, you're up to something here.
Of course I've been up to something. The Magi that walk the lightless path are always up to something. If we weren't, we'd be sitting at home watching The Bachelor until our brains became as soft as our asses. Release the pressure on that tube, why don't you?
I'm not doing a goddamn thing for you.
So rebellious. Are you done?
Done with what?
Being a brat.
I'm a brat? I don't even know why you brought me here.
Isn't it obvious?
Literally not in the slightest. I thought you would kill me.
Kill you? Why the hell would I want to do that?
Because
Fang and Feed attacked you? I told them that if they ran into you, to treat you and anyone you're with amiably.
Okay, that's not how I would describe our first encounter. What were they doing anyhow?
Contributing to my research.
Life support failure imminent.
Useless!
What are you doing? My God, is that thing alive?
Consider it a miscarriage.
Just kill me.
Carved. Dispense of this.
I can't watch.
Oh, please. As if you haven't spilled your share of blood.
You don't know anything about what I've done.
I know you work for those tattooed Philistines. Anyhow, I brought you here so that you could see what you really are.
I know what I am. A poor wretch infected with lycanthropy. I'm reminded every time I look in the mirror now. What are you laughing at?
Veronica, V, Vellum, you haven't the faintest idea of who you are. There's much to discuss.
I stumbled my way through the carcasses, most of them humming with Imagomantic energy. The side of my face burned where Fang's venom had dribbled onto it. If I make it out of this alive, I'll have a nice scar at least. Looks like Fang and Feed have already found their way out. Where the hell is V? For that matter, where the hell is the exit? Oh, shit.
Enjoy freezing to death, Enjoy freezing, dickhead!
You do know that safety protocols make it so that there's a handle on the inside, right?
I know, which is why I've exhausted the remaining supply of my venom to seal you in.
Damn you! Ugh!
Toodles! Come, Feed. Let's get you to safety.
Great. Just great. Well, it ain't getting any warmer in here. Think, Wexler. What do you have? What would Michael say? Check obstacle, check inventory. Okay, inventory. Smith & Wesson 5-shooter. Not really gonna help. Let's see how I can shoot my way out. 5 cigarettes. Good for helping me cope with my agitation and not much else. Lighter. Pretty much the same as the cigs. Tattoos. Falseface ain't gonna help. Gives me Feed's appearance, but none of his strength. Definitely not his werebear form. There's the third tattoo I got, the Inkblade. I haven't used it yet. It might have been useful against Fang, but he would have poisoned me if I'd stabbed him with it. Let's see. I haven't used this in a while. Honestly, I was hoping I wouldn't have to ever again. But given the way things are going, the creeps and the magi, well, a broken body is better than a buried one. Here goes. Hi-ya! Go figure. What were you expecting, Evan? There's a reason the Inkblade's official name is called Flesh Flints. It's useful against physical organic matter, not metals and minerals and such. Why, thank you, Engraved Washington. I know that. I'm just trying to make the best of a bad situation. Which is Why, I'm arguing with myself as if you were actually here instead of figuring the problem out. God, I need a therapist. Or a priest. Or both. Okay, I need to figure this out or I'm gonna freeze. Locked door, 3 spells. Think. Oh! Just gonna get these suckers down. Okay. Come on! Jesus, this is a big bovine. Okay, a few more. Let's see. That's just about 10 beef carcasses. I'll just dissipate the Inkblade. Now, I'll just wear the Bodyboom tat, and I'll be home free. If I don't vaporize myself in the process. Here goes nothing.
Flesh of the fallen! Grant me freedom through fulmination! Boom.
What have you done, Lily? Yes, Solomon isn't exactly a diabolical presence, but maybe you should have thought twice before convincing them to ink you up.
So, what exactly is this going to do?
Your mind-body connection has been severely damaged by your encounter with the 100-handed. Every tattoo I've given you has failed to work according to the parameters I've set for it.
And you've found a way to fix that?
No. More like, I found a way to open you up to the Glimmermore. Think of the tattoos as windows to the Glimmer. You open the window to let some air in, and close it to make a seal. You can break the window to let a lot of air in, but the window becomes useless.
This is basic theory, Solomon. I learned it when I was an inkling, tapping or channeling a tattoo versus burning it.
I'm getting to my point. You will be the window.
What?
There are 3 parts of Imagomancy. The Glimmer, which is where the raw magical energy comes from. The Imagomancer, who summons the energy. And the tattoo, which bridges the two and gives it form. The tattoo I'm giving you will provide no form.
No form? What does that even mean?
You'll tap directly into the Glimmer. The tattoo I'm giving you, I won't be able to remove it. The baths won't be able to remove it. It may overtake you. It may consume you. But this is the only way I see being able to restore your use of Imagomancy. I think, given time, you will be able to direct the energy. If you don't get yourself killed.
What can happen with this?
Anything drafted, Thomas. Anything.
We'll see how that goes, Solomon.
They can't be too far. Yeah, they're definitely here in Queensbury. Somewhere. But where? Ah, well, that answers that.
The 100-Handed is a Madhouse radio production. Created and written by Tom Tress. Directed by Brooke Pillafont. Theme music by Ian Flores. Featuring the voice of Gage Richter as Evan Wexler, Brooke Pillafont as V, Cynthia Cruiser as Catherine, Terry Harrison as Fang, Joey Chance as Feed, Deanna Lalich as Lily Thomas, Cynthia Cruiser as Solomon. Where's the beef? Find out at 100-Handed. That's 100handed.com.